Welcome back to the college football official week 1 betting locks and predictions, and let's get right into it with the early week games. We've got a Thursday night showdown between North Carolina at Minnesota, the second leg of a home and home there, and we are going to start out with a little betting lock here. And originally in our way too early video, we gave this out at Minnesota -1. Now it's up to -2 in the hook, and I like Minnesota to win this game by at least 3 points here. And that is our first betting lock of the season. Max Brosmer is going to be the quarterback for the Golden Gophers here, and I expect him to outduel and this UNC squad. I'm not expecting the most points here, so I think these 2.5 will be valuable, but I like Minnesota to win by the square 3 number. Then we've got another very interesting game, Colorado playing a tough FCS opponent in North Dakota State at home. This game will have a lot of hype around it. Colorado favored by around 8 to 9 points, depending on the shop you are at. I like Colorado to win this game short and sweet. I mostly put it up here just because next week I will be discussing what happened in this game, and hopefully for Colorado they just blow out North Dakota State here, but I could see this one being tough. Of course, they've got Sanders, Travis Hunter, going to be good to see all those guys playing again. Lots of hype around this Colorado football team this offseason, so interested to see what their offense and defense looks like in this game, and I will circle back next week. Then we've got TCU and Stanford, and in the past video, I gave out Stanford as +9 in the hook, a betting lock, but now that number's gone down to 8, so I'm going to take it down to a no play. I think TCU will win, and upon kind of rethinking this, Stanford won't quite be in school yet for this matchup. I expect a lot of TCU fans to make the trip out, and this could honestly be more of a TCU home game than a Stanford one, just depending on, but I guess we'll see there. I expect TCU to win, but I expect it to be close, and I could see this one ending on either side of the number, depending on the backdoor action that happens in the third or fourth quarter there. Then we've got the marquee game, the Act Flag kickoff on Saturday. Clemson against Georgia, and just like last video, we gave out Georgia -13 in the hook. Numbers still there at a couple shops, so I would say snag that as soon as you can. This one's moved up to 14, kind of across the board. That's a very critical number for this matchup. I would not bet it on the 14 number, but Clemson against Georgia. Georgia, just the best team in the nation in terms of the power rating. Maybe debatable with Ohio State. Just lots of returning talent. Carson Beck, one of my preseason Heisman list candidates. Then Clemson, you've got Cade Klubnik. No transfers for Clemson. I expect Georgia to get off to a good start. Then we've got to price in at least 1 to 2 points of home field advantage just because this one is in Mercedes-Benz. I think all that leads to a 2-touchdown plus victory out of the Bulldogs. If they are not to cover, I'd like to see a Clemson win just to shake up this college football season immediately. As you can see, Clemson's rated number 14 to start out the season, and Georgia just has a large gap over the pack. It would be nice to see that reduced, but we'll see what happens there. Then we've got a rivalry matchup revived. Penn State at West Virginia, and this one's going to be a great one. I've got West Virginia +10 in the hook here. Originally, we gave out West Virginia +12 in the hook in the previous video, so we're getting all this good line movement, and that is why you guys should subscribe in the top right corner right now. Only 8% of the audience is subscribed, and remember that these numbers are moving with us, so if you want to turn on post notifications and just kind of tail the locks as they come out, usually we're getting pretty good line value, and we've made money these past few seasons, so definitely be sure to subscribe right now as we are on the push for 5K subscribers. So for West Virginia, I expect them to build on what they started last year under head coach Neil Brown, who was on the hot seat previously. Penn State, there's been a lot made of them this offseason. They're really a preseason team that's expected to make a run to the 12-team playoff. Whether they will make the Big Ten championship, we will see. They have a big home game against Ohio State later down the schedule, but I think this is a big spot where they could be on upset alert. I like that critical number with the 10 in the hook for WVU. If it gets below 10, I would consider playing back Penn State, kind of. Allard has not looked good in the preseason or in the spring game, but I think that he will improve somewhat. Not calling for West Virginia upset outright by any means, but I would not be surprised at all if this was our big upset of the week, nor would I be disappointed because this would really give the Big 12 a shot at getting maybe 2 at-large teams into the dance. So I like West Virginia to cover that 10 in the hook, and we'll see if they can pull out a win. Then we've got Virginia Tech Vandy in this one. I'm just covering because it is a Power 4 matchup. Virginia Tech, one of the teams I actually had in the ACC championship, as their schedule is quite easy. They are being led by quarterback Tyron Drones this year, and I expect them to win comfortably against the Vandy squad that will not have much crowd support in Nashville here. I expect a lot of Virginia Tech fans to make the trip out, and I would expect them to, cover this 13 in the hook spread a good amount of the time there. We'll see how long they play their starters when this thing gets out of hand, as I think it will. If Vandy is to win this matchup, it would certainly be shocking, but Virginia Tech has gotten a lot of hype this offseason, so we'll see if they can make good on that in this first game there. So now on to the second page. We've got some of the afternoon games on this Saturday, and then, of course, the Sunday and Monday matchups as well. South Dakota State against Oklahoma State. This game is going to be popcorn for an FCS versus ranked team matchup. South Dakota State's pulled off a couple notable upsets in years past. Oklahoma State preseason ranked, and they return all 5 O-linemen as well as Ollie Gordon. I expect him to go off in this game. Recall that South Dakota State, on their run to the championship last year in the FCS, was rated as high as number 24 in the nation, regardless of division. Don't have all the work done on the number right now, so no play on this game, but the number's about 7, 8, 9, depending on where you are at. I expect Oklahoma State to win this, but we will have to see what happens. This should be a good game to watch out for, especially in mid-afternoon window that might not have a lot of action there while you're waiting for this next game, which is Miami against Florida. And again, in the last video, we gave out Florida +3. There was still a +3 hanging out. Now it's down to 2.5. I'm still willing to take it. Anything above 2, if you can get the Gators there. I like them to win this outright. I think the wrong team's favored here. I think the Swamp will be worth 3 or 4 points for a Miami team that still has a lot of moving parts to get together. Damian Martinez out there for them. Cam Ward, of course. But I like Mertz in Florida. Napier to get on track right away, playing the most brutal schedule in the nation, 8 or 9 ranked teams. I like Florida to win this one. I think they should be favored in this matchup at home in the Swamp. Just one more shout out to subscribe, because we will have a lot more college football betting content. We are giving out all of the locks this year. And one more shout to subscribe to the Discord, because any plays that we discover have some value, as these lines are always moving. We've got about 2 weeks until week 1. Any other plays that we add on will be given out for free on the Discord, so go ahead and click that in the top right now, and be sure to subscribe to the channel as well. But without further ado, let's get into UNLV at Houston. The spread's down to 1 in some shops, but started as high as 3, 2.5 for Houston. I'm going to have Houston winning narrowly, but I think this could be a great game, and it's Odom against Fritz. UNLV charged the Mountain West Championship last year, but was not able to prevail with a home game against Boise State in the championship game. I expect them to lose this one, but I expect this one to be a great game. It's not the most high-profile game. Houston's supposed to be bottom of the barrel in the Big 12, which is why they are only favored by less than a field goal at home as a Power 4 team against a pretty middle-of-the-road G5 team. But we'll see what Fritz and his company can do coming from Tulane after last season. I think he can build up the program. It'll just take some time. I like Houston to win this one. Let's move to College Station, where I have a betting lock on A&M up to -2 in the hook. We gave this out in the last video at even. This one's moved a little bit just because of some of the public perception on A&M. Even though they're rated 20 by the AP poll, this number continues to move with them. Notre Dame has had a little bit of trouble on the offensive line staying healthy, and I think that's going to change this game drastically. Riley Leonard, of course, the revenge game, the meetup game, whatever, with his old coach, Elko, at Texas A&M. I think this Texas A&M coaching staff Elko's brought in is phenomenal. They have a lot of talent remaining, and I like them to win this one outright. Give me them to cover the 2 in the hook. Not sure how many points will be scored. The weather will definitely play a factor, and the crowd for Texas A&M's advantage here. I like the Aggies to win this one and send Notre Dame to an 0-1 start in what is a pretty easy schedule. That would be a devastating blow for a Notre Dame team that has no way to clinch a conference championship themselves. Then let's move on to the Wyoming at ASU game, and I gave this lockout for Wyoming +7 in the hook. I like it again here, still at 6 in the hook, and I think Arizona State's a little bit overvalued here. I'm not sure the crowd will be, 100% in on this game already for Arizona State. Pretty tough season last year. They do have Scatabo, but I like Wyoming as a little bit of a Mountain West dark horse team on the road to keep it close, perhaps even win this game at +6 in the hook. Arizona State's first game in the Big 12. I don't think that they will impress there. Then we've got USC against LSU in Allegiant Stadium. Primetime on the Sunday. I like LSU to win. Nussmeier against Miller Moss. This will be a crazy game because whichever team loses, the fans are going to be insufferable and calling for coaches to be fired, perhaps, in the case of Kelly or Lincoln Riley there. Both of these teams have major questions on defense. Both of them made significant staff overhauls, getting rid of sprint for USC, and LSU just putting in an entirely new defensive support staff. Kelly did there. We'll see which defense is legit, which offense is legit with Nussmeier, 2 new QBs at both of these teams after, the last 2 Heisman winners, quite frankly. This should be a great game, and LSU currently favored by 6, down to 5 in the hook at some places, but I like LSU to win, but I could see this one going either way. I'm taking off my lock that I gave earlier. Then we've got Boston College against Florida State. In the past video, the way too early video, I said that the number's a little too much with Florida State favored by 21 or 22 here. I think the number should be more like 19. Does that mean I'm giddy to play Boston College here? No, I'm not. Let's see what happens in the Week 0 game, but I like Florida State to win that one at home. I will have more information once they already played that first game, but could be a good game to watch, maybe the first quarter on that Labor Day Monday there. So, thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and comment your Week 1 predictions.